Pharmaceutical companies have been very much in focus over the last 12 months as the race to deliver vaccines for the coronavirus got underway. Pfizer is one of these, so I thought let's take a look at it in a bit more detail and see just how much impact, if any, delivering one of the vaccines has had on its stock price. I thought it'd be interesting to have a look at Pfizer. We've seen some volatility over the last 12 to 18 months, but so far, at least for this year, it has been perhaps somewhat directionless. We've seen some weakness, we've seen it bounce back, but it's been stuck in a fairly tight range over the last couple of months. So I thought let's take a look at it in a bit more detail. So as usual in this video, I'll talk about some of the recent news around Pfizer, how the earnings went for the company, the levels to look at. Then we'll come back onto this, look at the charts in a bit more detail and see what the technicals say. Hello, I'm David Jones from Capital.com, and this time round on our stocks channel, I thought we'd take a look at a company from a sector that's been very much in the news over the last 12 months for obvious reasons. We take a look at Pfizer in a bit more detail. So as usual in this video, I'll talk about some of the recent news, some of the earnings for Pfizer, then we'll jump back onto the platform and take a look at things from a technical chart point of view. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, if you could click on subscribe, it does help support the channel and it means we can continue pushing out lots of different content on different stocks during the week and keep coming back to them and see how they're performing. Right, let's get into it and have a look at Pfizer in a bit more detail. So if you're not familiar what Pfizer do, they're a US pharmaceutical and biotech company involved, of course, in the development and the production of various medicines and vaccines. They are one of the companies that developed a vaccine for the coronavirus, for COVID-19. Clearly, that's been a major factor of the focus on the pharmaceutical sector over the last 12 months, and Pfizer are one of the companies behind a vaccine. At the time of recording, the company was said to be seeking approval for third doses of the vaccine to be administered. I think, as we all know, the standard so far has been 2 doses. Pfizer saying they want to push for people to get a third dose as a booster to the protection the vaccine offers. The World Health Organization has pushed back against this and saying that there's no proof as of yet that a third injection of the vaccine would really make that much difference. In its latest earnings in the first quarter of 2021, vaccine revenues from the coronavirus accounted for about a quarter of its overall revenue. When it comes to its earnings, these beat expectations. So Pfizer's earnings per share for the first quarter came in at 93 cents. The market was expecting something like 77 cents. So confidently beating forecast there, but not that much impact on its share price. Its share price is up for the year so far, but when we have a look at the chart at the moment, you'll see that overall it has been pretty flat, but for the year so far, the stock is up by around about 8% in 2021. So when it comes to support and resistance for Pfizer, it is trapped within a fairly tight range. We've got immediate resistance just from May, coming in just above $41 a share. And then from the same month, we've got support down below 38. So are we going to see a change to this sideways range for Pfizer? Or is it set to be a fairly uneventful 6 months ahead? Let's take a look at the chart and the technicals in a bit more detail and see if there's anything here suggesting a major move is coming. I've got the chart here going back about 6.5 years for Pfizer. And you can see it's been fairly sideways over that period. We've seen some big swings. The stock has traded above $46 at the end of 2018. We've been as low as $28 in March of 2020, when we saw plenty of stocks hit, of course, as the coronavirus pandemic really started to spread around the world. So I thought, well, let's zoom in on perhaps the last couple of years and see what the charts say. I thought we'd start things off by looking at the 20-day moving average. Now, moving averages generate buy and sell signals, and they work well when markets are trending. You know, if we go back over the last year and a half, we've had some good buy and sell signals along the way. The last decent buy signal we've got to look at probably March of this year as the share price crossed up through the moving average through about $34 and then the price did run up as high as $41 in April. But moving averages do not work well in sideways trending markets. Let's zoom in. So you can see over the last couple of months, we've seen this stock price go sideways, and we're just seeing the moving average generate buy and sell signals that don't really amount to much because we have no real trend in place. So they work well when markets are trending, not so well when markets are sideways. The last signal we had in the moving average was just a few days ago, July the 8th. So when the price crossed up through about $39, $39.45 for the stock, closing above the moving average, giving us a buy signal. We have had a bit of strength since then, but I think it's still a bit early to say that there's going to be a new major trend starting. If we look at the RSI down here, again, something of a mixed or nothing picture from the RSI. The last signal from the RSI, overbought, oversold indicator, was on June the 10th, and it was pretty good. The RSI moved into overbought. This did coincide with the latest sort of major short-term top for Pfizer, up above $40 a share, and we have seen the share give up ground since then. At the time of recording, the moving average is pretty flat. It's not the moving average, the RSI is pretty flat. It's trading not too far from the middle of the range, so I don't think we're getting too much from that. And that's clearly, again, because volatility has dropped off in the stock price since May. We're not getting the same sort of swings, so we're not getting the extremes on the RSI. Let's take a look at the price action. So I think the first big question is, do we have a trend on Pfizer? I suppose we could say, if we picked up on the March 2020 lows, we could say we have something of a trend going on, or the makings of a trend. We do have higher highs and higher major lows just about. So if we were going to see this trend continue, I think the next immediate target that technical analysts would look for would be a run back up to the December highs, up around $43 for the stock, something like that. On the downside, that trend support is coming in just below $36. So even if we saw the stock drop $3 from where it's trading now, we're still in this somewhat loose trend that we've been in since March of 2020. But it does look fairly directionless. I suppose from a short-term trading point of view, we have seen $38 emerge as support over the last couple of months. So if it got knocked back to there, I think some short-term traders may see that as a buying opportunity, looking to see if $38 holds. So overall, I think if you look at the last 18 months or so, it is broadly positive. We just don't have some of the strong trends that we've seen in plenty other stocks out there, of course, in stock markets have recovered off those March 2020 highs. So still mildly positive. If it sells off from here, if we have a major sell-off through 38, I think people will be watching this 36 area to see if that trend line holds. Also, the lows from early April, just the other side of 36. I suppose when it comes to a medium-term target, perhaps a run back up to the 42 to 43 area, but it does feel somewhat listless at the moment compared to other stocks, and it wouldn't be too surprising if we just saw this somewhat sideways, fairly low volatility range continue for at least the next few weeks, if not months. That's it for the update on Pfizer. We'll come back to it and see if things change in the months ahead, but for now, from me, David Jones and Capital.com, we'll leave things there. Good luck with your investing. For more trading videos just like this, please subscribe to our channel.